Okay, we're just going to have a little bit of time to watch Katie's steering. Katie, you do a good job of maximizing how much you're paddling, trying to minimize the amount you're poking. I do notice that when you're on your left side, you tend to do your elbow choo-choo train thing a little bit more than on your right side. And so if you wanted to use a wee bit of a D-stroke to rectify that, that's something you could practice. One thing I noticed was that Katie looks over to the right whenever you poke, which I don't know if you're worried that I'm videotaping or if you're actually just watching the other boat next to you. If it's you are monitoring the boats around you, that's a really good policy for any steers to be looking around every time you poke so that you know that you're not running into somebody else. Kristen, really quick, I wanted to just do a freeze frame here so you could see what your upper shoulder is doing. So you have a really wide open upper shoulder, and to me, I'm worried about injury. I don't know if it feels like an injury to you, but working on keeping that shoulder closed is something that you might work on. All right, first I want Anne to take a look at your timing here. On the one hand, Anne, you have one of the more long in the water strokes. At some point, maybe we'll all get to that point, but because your boat isn't there with you, you're the one out of time. So in order to fix that, again, you're gonna have to like feel like your in the water time is shortened. You'll be taking some of it off the back. I would probably work on it through initiating your hip recovery at the back of your stroke, feeling that hip start to propel forward earlier so that it helps bring your paddle out of the water quicker. Yeah, a lot of the timing stuff looks like it's going to be working on that body being more sprightly, having that recovery feel more dynamic. Okay, we're going to take a look at Kim for a second here. Wait until you're on the other side. Okay, first thing I want you to look at, Kim, is this top elbow. You see how you're doing this sort of like false drive by feeling your elbow push down. It's not an effective part of your stroke. It's not doing anything, but it is probably leading to injury. Then I'd like you to take a look at your body placement. So you unfortunately missed a lot of our time where we were talking about where our body is placed. We've taken it back a notch, so you're not going to be extending out fully outside of the water. You're going to have a more relaxed setup, so that here, look at how you have a pause at the front outside of the water where you're fully extended. I want you to take it back a notch, and I want you to try to get that extension underneath the water. So that's where the lock is you are coming into the water slightly notched back, but then your blade is going forward into the water to get that full extension. All right, other boat. Mindy, take a look at your body as it goes up and down. This is where you have a little bit of a hiccup on this side. So your body collapses and then hiccups upwards. You'll see it more on the other side. It's very hard to tell many body mechanics from this vantage point. Alex, you could get your top hand out over the gun a little bit more so that your blade is more perpendicular. So Mindy, take a look at that hiccup. Forsey, I don't know where this came from, but you have a choo-choo train of your lower arm. You can do a little bit more recovery as a swing out and around. Try painting the side of the gunnel with your fingertips, and so your longer fingertips are going to be angled towards the boat as you recover rather than facing forward. And Jill, your stroke looks nice from this angle. I don't know if I have a lot to say about it. I like how upright your body is. You don't have any kind of hunch in your back. Well done. Okay, I want to talk about flowing as a boat. So we're going to look at the whole boat here in slow motion. So I want you to take a look at the recovery, the exit, and flying through the air. You all hit the water almost at the same time, but everybody seems to be doing their own stroke in their recovery. So watch how that puts all of you out of time. And we're going to get a chance to look at this in stop motion. So Lamson's behind, Linda, you're ahead, you're rushing, and Diane, you're pulling back pretty far. So this is definitely a sign of folks who are using their elbows to recover, and 1, 2, and 3 all are using elbows to recover a little bit. That is an impingement. You get stuck back there when you use your elbow, and you can't exit with vitality and with a quick response. So again, we can see Linda on this side getting stuck at the back, which makes your recovery through the air a little bit slower. And Lamson, you're definitely showing that on this side as well. So the change in that is to watch how that hip is going to start making that recovery happen sooner. It's going to be your outside hip, and you're going to feel it start to snap forward while you're still in the water, and that's going to help your body get longer. You're going to feel a lengthening through your core. And instead of using your hand and your arm, your lower arm, to go back and forth, you're going to feel your body bring the blade up and rotate it forward. So Lamson and Janet, I'm going to ask you to do some de-stroking for a little bit so that you help drop that shoulder, you help make that hip be the first part of the recovery. Yeah. So a few little tidbits here. Lori, watch that top elbow. You're still trying to push down with a chicken wing of that elbow. Work on keeping that arm sort of as a strong band of muscle. It should not be, and no joint should be doing any of that work on its own. So one thing that you can do is start focusing on the lock, that lower arm, before you load it, and that might help that upper arm. Diane, you can see that your lower arm is doing all of your work for you. So you are pulling the paddle to you with that lower arm, and so there's a pendulum motion going on. You've missed a lot of our pre-work, so the thing to do is to like lock that lower arm in and then pull your body back. You're actually trying to pull your body towards your paddle, so you shouldn't feel any sort of like pull on that lower arm at all. You should be pulling through your body, so your core and your lats are going to be working hard to pull you towards the blade, and that will help you have less of a elbow recovery here. Okay, Willa. So we're gonna let you get onto the other side here, and we're gonna slow this down. So I'd like to work on how you're entering the water and how you're pulling back. So as soon as you get on the other side, it's gonna slow down. All right. Watch how your body continues to go downwards here. Down, 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 down. And then you're so low that you have to pull up, 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 up on this blade. So instead of a downward motion with your body, I want you to work on getting your body to your lock place and then not falling on your blade. You're going to feel more of the necessary feeling in your lat when you do that. And hopefully that will help your recovery not come up through the water. Do you see how it's coming up at the very end? And you can maybe even see your boat dip a little bit during some of that. So I think working on that body going down and up is going to be something that'll help you smooth out. And the feedback I gave you during practice about keeping that top hand out over the gunnel is also going to help you. You did have sort of an angle, a diagonal on your blade, so that your top hand was a little bit over your feet. Okay, we'll take a look at this boat all together. This boat is showing more of a good timing through the stroke. We're going to slow it down. So the only timing issue here is that everyone from seat 2 back is just a little bit slower in the water than seat 1. In a way though, Cindy, that's an improvement. Generally you've been a rusher and now it's looking like your stroke has modified so that you're pulling through the water more, and so that's generally good. This will just be a minor change. One of the main things I see on this boat is a little bit of a mechanical stroke. That's definitely something I see in seat 1, 2, and 4-ish. So Sue, notice how your top arm never bends, right? And so that kind of makes your whole body very mechanical. Cindy, you have a little bit of that going on. So you can give your top elbow some bend. And honestly, like that bend will help you find a little bit more of a lock. This boat, we still have, recover in the air, and there's a slight pause up front so that we're not actually entering into the water as the start of our stroke. So remember that hill of a recovery, so you're going to want to plant your blade in the water as the end of your stroke. That's going to be your lock. That's the primary feedback I would give on this boat. So rounding it out so that there's a little bit more of a jelly bean round curve at the front and the end of your stroke, allowing that top elbow to flex a little bit more, and finishing your stroke in the water.